This is from number 426. That's why I thought it was very important to read. He goes by the name Mr. E. Hello, you motherfucking fucks. You can tell this guy was probably in the Army. This is 426. Coming up on July 31st, I officially turned 50. Well, happy belated birthday to you, sir. It's been a long ride for sure. Not always a fun one, as given my musculoskeletal system has been failing thanks to my losing the genetic lottery. There's been a lot of pain. Oof.
Oh, dude.
Sorry to hear that, brother. But you know what? Hit Pop up because he's got supplements for days, may be able to, not cure you, obviously, but maybe ease some of that.
Take the edge off.
Take the edge off, yeah. You might wind up with a blue tongue like you just blew a Muppet, but,
Yeah, it's a brain.
Not that you would know about that or anything.
I use the methylene blue 3 times a week.
Yeah, likely story. You Muppet,
Okay.
you Muppet pole polisher.
That's messed up.
I know. Anyway, the important part is, he continues, the process to go from a man who wanted what I think a majority of men want to becoming the good, the bad, and the evil Mr. E. And I cannot thank you enough, Pop, for helping me uncover that part of myself through your own example, to a man who just wants to be left the hell alone. I realized a while ago I was always that man. In school, where a majority of the prologue occurred, I was mysterious, standoffish, aloof, and pensive. I wasn't unfriendly, but if I was approached in a way that made me feel intruded upon, I would take a step back. I was always more of a man of action and few words. I wasn't the greatest of students because I learned on my own most of the things that I should have learned in school well in advance. I was at the approach of physics level skill before entering 7th grade, understood trigonometry and geometry at a first-year college level, and going to school was just an insult to my intellect. I would ace my tests in math, science, and most of the other ones, but not bother with homework because I just didn't need to bother with it. In 9th grade, I took the ASVAB test and passed it perfectly. My original aspirations were to be a fighter pilot for the Air Force or the Navy, but having asthma put those dreams to rest. I opted for nuclear engineering for the Navy, just as I was about to enter the Navy, I was told by my enlisting servicemen that cocksucker Slick Willie made a long list of disqualifying criteria, of which asthma and color blindness would keep me out of the military wholesale. Well, where were people jumping on Slick Willie for being discriminatory back then?
I don't know.
I mean, these are actual physical things that may impair your ability to, perform in a battle situation. Just like, I don't know, being mentally ill and thinking you're something you're not?
No. I've helped guys get past the colorblind thing.
Good.
Like, literally, you give them that little earbud, and you have the book, and you're like, 9, 13, 17.
It reminds me of Space Cowboys. Donald Sutherland clearly can't see shit, but he just rattles off the eye test perfectly, and he's like, my eyes suck, but my memory's perfect, and he just rattles it off again off the top of his head. I'm like, well done, sir. That's a great movie if you guys haven't watched it.
Yeah, listen, because that whole colorblind thing is stupid.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. I mean, you don't need to tell colors to do your job.
Well,
most of the time. I mean, I'm sure there are some instances.
The importance they're putting on it is way too extreme.
Yeah, to disqualify you from service. Yeah.
Like you can't get in airborne because you're colorblind. You can't tell the difference between the green and the red light. Well, one's on top of the other. Mm-hmm. When light 2 goes on, you run out the door.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're going to disqualify people for color blindness, then we definitely need to be disqualifying people who have delusions of persecution and basically want to join just to make the American taxpayer pay for their cosmetic surgery that will never change their genetics.
Correct.
If you know what I mean.
Yep.
Can't talk about it too in depth on YouTube. To be certain, though, any day he dies, I will throw a celebration and I will refuse to lower my flag for the motherfucker. It's just how I roll. Mm-hmm. So when I was 15, I met a girl. I'll call her Holly. She was flirty, warm to be around. Excuse me. It was weak. And when I tried to get her to go out with me, she declined. And I'm pretty sure the reason was very friend-zoning. Mm-hmm. But what I learned was I definitely should have gotten to know her better before thinking I wanted to date her. By the time she was 16, she failed the dick stacking test. It would come up to me on an almost monthly basis telling me, I think I'm pregnant. First couple of times I was sympathetic, but after a while it just became white noise, and she could tell I was either disinterested or zoned out. Probably this, because I was prone to thinking about shit in a sort of evil genius fashion without my own lair to meditate or contemplate the mysteries of the world in.
Nice.
And then it seemed like I was just waiting for it to happen, and when she would tell me, I would just tell her something smart-ass like, you know what causes that, right? Maybe stop doing that.
Slipping, falling on a penis.
Or, well, imagine my shock. Shit like that. I figured at some point she'd stop telling me, but lo and behold, this was a game. I had no idea what the end game or the mission of it was, but what I do know is I wanted someone who was more pure than that. I admit I had very limited exposure to sex. I kissed a couple of girls at that point, pretty good at that, but the idea of becoming a father was not a pleasant one. When I had the aspiration to become a Navy serviceman, I would have been a 30 and out sort, working on carriers, cruisers, and submarines for 18 months out of every 2 years, and as such, I had no intention of having a family, getting a wife so that she could pull the same shit Pop's ex did because she was lonely.
Yeah.
And it all made sense when I hit 17 and really started thinking about it and planning for my future. When I knew the future was not going to happen, I entered college for engineering, had a longtime girlfriend that I married like a fucking idiot at 21.
Ooh.
And I didn't even make it to 23 before she was found out to be a hooer. I kicked her out, and evil Mr. E was let out of the box.
Nice.
As Pop did, I was making up for lost time, and I was slinging seed like a bird feeder with a turbocharger on it and a crash helmet just in case the bitch got thrown off. I was constantly drunk, and to be perfectly honest, I'm surprised this didn't end up burning me at some point, but to that end, I'm clean, and I created no kids. I met up with Holly, who at this point was a single mom of 2 and was trying to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
They always come back.
Yes, they do.
Well, you know as well as I do. When they're single moms, you bail on them. They're more for practice. She could tell my interest was purely physical, and since she knew who my ex was, she was sympathetic to why I let the worst aspect of myself out of the box. But I did not take her to bed because in a moment of clarity, bad Mr. E informed me that she's damaged goods. And the last thing I need is to permanently attach myself to her.
That's right.
She left, and I never returned her calls.
Good.
That's exactly what you should do. Because she was, I guarantee you, there was no goalie in the net.
Nope.
And she would have told you that you didn't need one.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, no, I learned my lesson with the first 2. Right? Yeah.
Get out of here.
They don't learn. A lot of things happened in that time. One of them was that I had a daughter with a woman that turned on me because she's a gullible moron who believed her miserable sister, who was also a pump-and-dump fuckhole, was upset that I didn't slip her the 10D. And she was told I was cheating on her, which I never did. It was a hard fight for custody, but in 07, against all odds and probabilities, against the recommendation of a friend of the Quantaha guardian ad litem, I was granted full custody of her and got everything I asked for.
That is exceedingly rare, brother.
Yes, it is.
Holy crap.
I then had that guardian ad litem disbarred for unethical behavior.
Nice.
And I'm just a mean son of a bitch like that.
Good. Good.
Get it ready.
What?
I did get married again.
Ah! Ah!
And then divorced.
Ah! Oh, my God. All right.
I know. I was just waiting for it. But I divorced her in order to protect her from what I was about to do. And the reason that I am number 426.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I was dismissed from where I worked over a campaign of false allegations of sexual harassment. Welcome to the club. Mm-hmm. I went through the kangaroo court of the company where I was fucked no matter what, never knowing who it was, and words slipped out to my community making me almost impossible to hire anywhere. I intended on letting my wife get free and clear of me so she couldn't be punished for my actions because several people would have died for fucking up my life. Pop saved me there, and all those other people. But I'm still close with the second ex-wife, and she didn't try to soak me because she knew I was broken as a person, and didn't at the time know why I did what I did, and didn't fight it. Now she knows and feels bad about it. Sounds like you might have actually had a pretty decent woman there, dude.
I gotcha.
But also knows that I have issues with trust with women in general, because there is no forum for me to get justice. On the other hand, if it ever becomes hockey mask time and society breaks down, I may have to go on a hunting trip. At that point, no use in trying to live my best life, right?
And I totally understand that.
Yep. Hey, if you ever got a terminal diagnosis tomorrow, I'm sure there'd be a few people on the list.
Yep.
I'm not condoning that or anything. I'm just saying.
That's just the way it goes down.
It is the way it goes down. I was raising my daughter until she became an adult, and now she's married to a man who I am proud is my son-in-law. I'm sure he'll appreciate that my daughter was raised by a man determined not to have her be a standard pump and dump booty call. She is the F's we all crave, and to be honest, I'm not so sure that this would have happened if I hadn't ended up with custody of her. You can bet your bottom dollar on that.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
She doesn't think so either. She despises her mother because shortly after my victory in court, she moved out of state without leaving the court's a forwarding address in order to try to evade child support. Oh, but women never do that.
Good luck with that.
But my kid is ultimately why there is a good Mr. E. I don't want the listeners thinking that I'm one of those dipshits who thinks that I'm three individuals, but the concept of good, bad, and evil Mr. E are perspectives. I write a lot and used to write to my kid in journals till I got custody of her, and she could tell in just reading them how it broke my heart being kept from her when her quantaha of a mother would keep her from me. The waiting game was soul-wrecking. I know what Pop says when he tells us that when he would have to give his girls back to his ex-wife, it was like processing a death in the family. Because for me, there was no way for me to know when the next time would be that I would see her.
Yeah, it's crushing.
My kid was a good child. Her decisions are rooted in what's best for her and not rebellion, which is why she's living a good life now. But now that is just me, and I live like a hermit. I have a cat, Spectre, who's about 3 years old, pristine white with a blue left eye and a green right eye. Hey, we don't get to choose our life's companions, and Spectre chose me.
All right.
And so what about Holly? Well, she became hooked on drugs, including heroin.
Oh, no.
And turned on the hyperdrive and slammed into the wall while still in hyperspace. Not only did age catch up to her, she became a victim of her lifestyle, which turned her into a lonely woman who is so incompetent she can't even attract a cat.
Wow.
Ouch.
Damn.
She saw me 5 years ago and asked me how I was doing. When I told her I was divorced and just saw my daughter to her 18th birthday, it was like she thought I was throwing her a red carpet. Now, she was ready to give me the snot pocket.
Yeah.
I declined in a way that was vindicating to me and insulting to her. This ought to be good.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
I told her, I wanted you back then because I wanted to start a family with you. Maybe. You had elements of youth and beauty, and I was definitely thinking with my dick then. You didn't want me when you were at your best, and now you expect me to take you at your worst? No fucking way. Nice. I have no intention of sharing my house, my bed, my shower, my cat, or my life with you. Wow. Not even for a night. I'm tired of being used.
Wow. I like it.
That is the kind of thing that crushes somebody's spirit like a sandcastle. Wow.
I've given the same, not exact identical speech, but I've something similar, like, I think 3 times in my life.
That is, wow.
And one of them, I literally was giving this woman the full court press.
Oh, I remember.
She gave me the business, and now she's like my age. She blew up. Done deal.
Done and done.
Yeah.
Ugh. Mr. E became totally self-aware that night while reflecting on it. The elements were always there, but now I could understand it all. The price of losing myself was high, and the path to regaining control of myself was an uphill battle. Message for Jeffrey Paul. I know you've seen me commenting on your music. Dressed in Green with Envy is one of my favorite works from anyone ever.
Nice.
And when I hear it, it is like what I'm hearing is the anthem of Mr. E. You are a legend, in all caps.
Nice.
You're also criminally undersubbed. So to any of the MGTOW brethren who have not subscribed to Jeffrey Paul, what are you doing with your lives? You know what you need to do, and you can do it easily. Linktree in the Meat Gazer box. Subscribing to Jeffrey Paul's YouTube channel is one of the buttons on there. I highly recommend it. And, lastly, to Pop's ex Quantaha. This ought to be good. I know deep down you realize what a fucking Quantaha you are. I doubt it keeps you up at night, but it should. Outside of all the really bad things that I've seen bitchy women do, though, the one thing that really just puts me into overdrive is that you killed his dog.
Yep.
I love animals. Cats, dogs, doesn't matter. That dog did not deserve it. For that, I hope you get ass cancer, and I hope your ass cancer gets AIDS.
Damn. Wow.
Either that or death by fire. Hell, even that's being nice. Your ultimate death should be so wretched and miserable that even the vultures circling over you are like, fuck it, I'm not that hungry. As you get properly sent on your way to hell. F off and die, whore. You were never worthy of the popster. 426 out.
Nice.
Damn!
That is awesome. I'm glad I was able to save that guy.
Standing ovation for that one. I'll stand up for that. That was amazing.
I like that.
Hot diggity
Listen,
damn.
if you guys have any stories about exes and how their life just imploded, send them to us. We might do a whole stream. The Slingback Repercussions.
Yeah, we should call it Check In with the Train Wreck. That's a good shit right there, man. Wow. Yeah, man. When you tell me about the dog thing the first time, I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
No.
Just to get back at you murdering an innocent creature.
Well, I filed for divorce first.
Oh.
And in the papers, I was very reasonable. Like, 50-50 custody. I live in the house. I pay my share of the bills. And hers was, luckily I was able, it was filed 30 minutes before her attorney filed it. But they both wound up on the judge's bench.
Oh, okay.
And he's looking at him. He's just like, well, Mr. Pop, yours was filed first, so we're going to go with that. Hers was like, restraining order, throwing me out of the house, seize all my money. That's what she wanted to do to me.
Wow.
And the only way she could actually get her way was to have me haul off and punch her.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back from Fort Indiantown Gap, I was running, I was training some guys and machine
So this
gun.
was a strategic maneuver.
Yeah. And I come back and the kids are there and I'm like, hey, where's Ranger? And she looks at me and she goes, I told you I didn't want you living here. And literally I'm just like, I could hear Bad Pop. This is why chicks get punched. This is why chicks get punched. And then I heard Good Pop. About face forward march. And I walked out of the house. I got 3 different stories. Never saw my dog again.
Damn.
6.5-year-old chocolate lab.
That's just, chocolate labs don't live super long, but he could have had another good 6 years in him.
12 years is a big dog. Because he was
pretty average, yeah.
He was a powerful animal. Like one time we're playing, keep away at the football, and he had enough, and he literally grabbed me by an ass cheek, lifted me up, and threw me on the ground. And I was like, you can have it. Here you go.
Here you go. All right, I'm good. Because if you decide that I'm your enemy,
I'd be dead.
It's not going to go too well.
Nothing I could do.
Ugh.
That rat bastard.
Oh, man. I keep telling you, man, we need to get you a dog.
Nah, I can't do it.
Why not?
Nah, there's only so much I can take, man. Can't do it.
All right, I get it. I don't know. You can come play with my dog. And she barely counts as a dog, but, she's cat-like in a lot of ways.
Any dog under 20 pounds is a cat.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the meat caser box.